Now we get to do some actual coding. I've already created a file called integers.php. In this clip, we're going to go over the different types of integers that PHP allows. All variables in PHP start with the $, and then your variable name. Now, in order to print this out, so we can see the value of our variable and the type of variable it is, we're going to use a built-in PHP function called var_dump. And inside there, all we need to do is pass in our variable name. Now when we run this by using Shift F6, you'll see at the bottom it not only displays our value of our variable, but it also tells us what type our variable is. Now, as with all integers, sometimes we need them to be negative. PHP allows for you to put the negative right in front of it, and if we hit Shift F6, we can see that our variable is holding that negative value. Not only does PHP do integers, just like other programming languages, PHP can also handle octal numbers. So if I were to come down here, I'm going to make a new variable, and call it octnum, and I'm going to give it an octal number. All octal numbers start with a 0. So in this case, I'm just going to give it an octal number of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to go look and see what happens when we dump the variable. And the output is an integer with a value of 668. Did you also know that PHP can handle hex numbers? Well, PHP can handle those hex numbers. I'm going to make a new variable here, call it hexnum, and now for our value. The hex value needs to start with 0x. Then it needs to be followed by any combination of numbers 0 through 9 and A through F. For our hex number, I'm just going to give it a value of ABC. Let's go ahead and output our value, hexnum, and we'll run our program. Here at the bottom, the hex number of ABC is converted to an integer of 2748. That's pretty cool. Now, did you know PHP can also handle binary numbers? Well, PHP can handle those binary numbers. I'm going to write a new variable here. We'll have our binary number. And to signify that your value is going to be a binary number, you preface it with a 0 and then a lowercase b. Then you follow it by your zeros and ones. Most of us who program are familiar with some of the lower binary numbers. In this case, if I were to type 1000, the result should be 8. Let's go ahead and see if we're correct. We are. Now each of our variables here are kind of on the small side. PHP can handle very large variables. Depending on your platform, an integer in PHP for a 32-bit signed value can be about a little bit over 2 billion. Now if you're on a 64-bit platform, it actually can go to 9 to the 18th power. That is a large number. Now for those of you who are interested, PHP does not support unsigned integers. So what happens if an integer goes larger than the value it's allowed? Well, PHP automatically converts it to a float. In our next clip, that's what we'll be learning about, our floating points, or as some like to refer to them, decimals.